Hey, everybody, and welcome back to the Faith is the 12-1 podcast. We're going to be doing a deep dive today into the idea of success.
Oh, yeah.
But not the kind of success you see on the cover of a magazine or anything.
Right.
We're talking about the kind of success that comes from sacrifice and purpose and impact.
Yeah. It's interesting when we think about success.
Yeah.
Our minds automatically kind of go to those external things like money, possessions.
Right.
But I think there's something much deeper to success.
That's exactly what we're exploring today. And we're going to be looking at some powerful concepts from Myles Monroe, who just had this incredible way of reframing success. He talked about it as a journey of transformation and exchange, not just about reaching some destination.
It's not about loss. It's about intentional exchange. And I think one of the most striking concepts that he presents is the idea of trading something of lesser value
Right.
for something far greater.
He uses a brilliant analogy.
Yeah.
It's like planting a seed.
Yeah.
You lose the seed when you put it in the ground, but you gain a tree.
It is a powerful shift in perspective.
Absolutely.
Because you focus on what unfolds
Yes.
through the sacrifice.
And it's not just about the end result, right?
Yeah.
It's about the person you become through the process.
Absolutely. Think about like the resilience you build when you step outside of your comfort zone or the wisdom that you gain from overcoming challenges.
He tells this really compelling story about a woman named Lucia who was kind of clinging to this comfortable job, but deep down inside,
Yeah.
She yearned to start her own business. And it took losing that job for her to realize that what she thought was, security was actually holding her back from her true potential.
That's so fascinating how sometimes life forces us to make those exchanges.
Yeah.
And for Lucia, losing her job was the catalyst for her to embrace her entrepreneurial spirit and build a business that she could be proud of.
Exactly.
And she became a stronger and more confident version of herself in the process.
It's a beautiful example of how what we perceive as setbacks
Can actually be opportunities for growth and transformation.
100%. And that's something that Munroe emphasizes throughout his work, is that even if you don't achieve the exact goal that you set out for, the person that you become through that process of striving and sacrificing and learning is incredibly valuable.
He even talks about Thomas Edison, his quest to invent the light bulb and all of those thousands of attempts that could be seen as failures. But each one was a stepping stone. A lesson learned that brought him closer to his ultimate breakthrough.
Absolutely. And this kind of brings us to a very crucial point.
Yeah.
What are we willing to exchange for the sake of our growth and purpose? And, Monroe highlights several areas where we might need to make some sacrifices, like letting go of our comfort zones, our need for instant gratification, our egos even.
Yeah. It's about identifying those things that might feel valuable on the surface, but are actually preventing us from stepping into our full potential. You know what I find really intriguing is how he links this whole concept of exchange to our faith.
Yeah.
He talks about how true success actually involves aligning ourselves with God's plan for our lives.
Yes. And later on in the deep dive, I want to tie this back to the 12:1 secret from Romans 12.1.
Yeah.
Which is all about offering ourselves as living sacrifices.
Yeah.
Transformed by renewing our minds.
That's where the magic happens.
It really is. It's about recognizing that we're not just striving for, worldly success here. We're striving for a deeper, more meaningful connection with our purpose and with God.
Absolutely. And in that process of surrender and exchange, we often discover that what we gain is far more valuable than anything we could have ever imagined on our own.
It's so true.
It really is.
It really is. So we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
It's like that saying, you have to give up something good to get something great.
Right.
But sometimes that good thing is actually what's holding us back.
Yeah. It's true. Monroe really emphasizes the importance of challenging those limiting beliefs, those narratives we tell ourselves that keep us playing small. Like, I'm not good enough, or I'll never be able to do that.
They're insidious.
Yeah.
They can become these self-fulfilling prophecies if we allow them to.
Yeah.
But Monroe argues that to experience true success, we have to confront those limiting beliefs head on.
He uses this great analogy. It's like having this treasure chest filled with incredible potential, but we're clinging to this rusty old key, afraid to even try it in the lock.
And often the act of trying, of stepping outside of your comfort zone, is what starts to chip away at those beliefs. You realize, hey, I can do this.
Yeah. You start to realize, wait a minute, I'm capable of more than I thought I was.
Right. Exactly.
And that reminds me of something else Munroe talks about. It's this idea of embracing failure as part of the journey.
Yeah.
He says that So many people are just paralyzed by this fear of making mistakes.
Absolutely. And yet, some of the most successful people in history have experienced so many setbacks and failures along the way.
It's about seeing those failures not as endpoints, but as valuable, learning experiences.
It refines our approach. It strengthens our resolve.
Edison's light bulb comes to mind again.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Each failed attempt was actually a step in the process
Yeah.
of innovation.
So it sounds like Monroe's encouraging us to develop a growth mindset
Right?
where we're looking at challenges as opportunities to learn and evolve instead of
100%.
threats to our ego or our sense of self-worth.
Yeah.
So if we're willing to sacrifice those limiting beliefs to embrace, the possibility of failure as part of the process, what else might we need to kind of let go of in pursuit of true success?
Well, Munroe talks about sacrificing our attachment to perfectionism.
Oof, that's a tough one.
That's a hard one.
Yeah, no, I struggle with that one.
Yeah.
It's that voice in your head that says, it has to be perfect or it's not even worth doing.
Right. But here's the thing. Perfectionism can lead to procrastination and analysis paralysis.
It really can.
And it can keep us from taking action, from putting our work out there and actually making progress.
Monroe says, done is better than perfect.
Yeah.
It's better to get it out there, and then you learn and iterate, from there.
He uses the example of successful companies like Slack.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually started as an internal tool for a gaming company, and they were willing to let go of their original vision
Wow.
and pivot and adapt based on what was working.
So it really sounds like success isn't just about reaching some destination. It's about embracing the journey with all of the ups and downs and failures and pivots along the way.
Precisely. And that brings us to maybe the most profound sacrifice of all.
Oh, okay.
The one that underpins all the others.
Okay.
Sacrificing who we are for who we can become.
Wow, that's powerful. Can you expand on that a little bit?
It's about recognizing that growth requires change. We have to be willing to shed old habits, beliefs, even parts of our identity that no longer serve us.
Okay.
To step into a newer, more expansive version of ourselves.
Okay, so we've talked about sacrificing comfort zones, limiting beliefs,
Yeah.
perfectionism, even our original plans if they're not working.
Yeah,
That's a lot to take in.
it is.
What does this all mean for, us listening right now?
It means we have a choice. We can settle for a comfortable, predictable life.
Yeah.
Or we can embrace those challenges and those sacrifices that will lead to growth and fulfillment.
It's about, recognizing that each choice, each moment
Yeah,
is an opportunity to kind of align ourselves with our deepest values
absolutely.
and, our aspirations.
And those choices, they don't have to be these huge, life-altering shifts.
Right.
They can be small, consistent actions that accumulate over time. Like even something as simple as choosing to spend an hour working on a personal project instead of watching TV or waking up early to exercise. Those are small acts of discipline and sacrifice.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's about consistency, building that momentum and trusting that those small sacrifices are going to create something really meaningful and impactful in the long run.
Yeah.
And it's almost like we're constantly shedding that old skin and stepping into this newer, more expansive version of ourselves.
Exactly. And that process, it can be uncomfortable, even a little scary at times, but it's in that discomfort, that stretching beyond those perceived limits, that we discover our true potential.
And speaking of discovering our potential, that brings us to the 12:1 secret that I mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It's from Romans 12.1, and it talks about offering ourselves as living sacrifices, transformed by renewing our minds.
Such a powerful verse. It ties directly into everything that we've been talking about today about sacrifice and exchange.
Yeah.
It's not about giving something up. It's about becoming something more.
Yeah, it's like surrendering our old selves, our limited ways of thinking,
Right.
in order to embrace a new way of being, a way of living that's more aligned with God's purpose for us.
And that transformation, it's not just for our own benefit. It's about using our transformed selves, our unique gifts and talents to make a positive impact on the world around us.
Absolutely. It's about being a reflection of God's love and grace.
Yeah.
It's about shining our light in the darkness and making a difference in the lives of others. And that's what really gives our sacrifices meaning and purpose.
It does.
So as we're wrapping up this deep dive today, I just want to, pose this question to our listeners.
Yeah.
What small sacrifices can you make today to move towards your goals? What limiting beliefs can you challenge? What step can you take outside of your comfort zone?
And remember, even the smallest consistent actions They create a ripple effect over time. We don't have to make these huge changes all at once. It's about progress, not perfection.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And you don't have to do it alone.
No.
Lean on your faith, your community,
Yeah.
your loved ones. Surround yourself with people who will encourage you and challenge you to grow.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for a way to kind of support your local community and spread some kindness, we encourage you to reach out to info@businessreferred.com.
Yeah.
They're doing some great work connecting people with local businesses.
Absolutely. A great way to make a difference right where you are.
It is.
Thank you all so much for joining us on the Faith is the 12-1 podcast today.
Yeah, we hope you enjoyed it.
We hope this deep dive was inspiring and encouraging for you.
And remember, you have greatness within you. Go out there and make a beautiful impact on the world.
Until next time, keep the faith and keep striving for that amazing life that God has planned for you.